But I wanted to stop here and ask if any of the other leaders, Matthew, Vince, right, Jack, if any of you want to jump out here and add to or share a little bit about what's happening for you, where you see things going, and any insights and wisdom that you might want to shed to the team here.
Sure, Aaron. Matt Jameson. Hey, guys. Matt Jameson, Salmon River, New Brunswick, Canada. You might have seen the river behind me, but the wind just blew my phone over if you saw that. Folks, I got started in 1994 in network marketing by accident. I answered an ad in the newspaper and ended up in an office in Springfield, Massachusetts. And it completely changed the entire course and direction of my life. But I want to tell you, I didn't make any money for 6 years in that company. It was a water filter and air filter company. And I was called Millionaire Matt the Water Filter guy. And I became president of the NFL club. If you don't know what that is, that's the No Friends Left Club. And I was the laughing stock of my community, folks. I was literally the laughing stock of my community. But people want to see you burn, man. So everybody wanted to come see this thing I was talking about. Nobody joined me, but I was actually showing the wrong types of people. I was showing my deadbeat, broke, pot-smoking, beer-drinking, party animal friends like me at the time. And nobody joined. So I didn't make any money. But when I got involved in the year 2000 with a highly credible author by the name of Robert G. Allen and a company that was already well established out of Salt Lake City, Utah, I started making money in the online space in network marketing, and it changed my life. But I still worried about what people thought. I mentioned earlier, you can't pay your bills with the opinions of other people. And when I started to realize years later, I'm talking probably around 2010, 2011, when it finally clicked for me that, listen, I can't worry about what people think of me. They're not, I got to stop caring what people think. I got to stop caring and trying to keep up with the Joneses. I have to do what's best for me and my family. I excelled and built one of the biggest teams in network marketing that I've ever built. I grew one of the biggest paychecks in network marketing of tens of thousands of dollars a month that I've never built before, and it changed everything for me. Here at 51 years old, I'm retired or semi-retired. I live on 50 acres here in the middle of nowhere. I've got all the toys. I got all that stuff. I don't say that to brag or boast, folks, but I'm just saying it to tell you what's possible because I stopped giving a shit. I lost my best friend because him and I didn't think properly, and him and I didn't think the same. And if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, you'll get a glimpse into what I'm talking about. And Aaron mentioned some other personal development books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I highly recommend that. And How to Win Friends and Influence People, and The Power of Focus, and The Compound Effect. Personal development is key, and that's what changed my life. Also coming up through since 1994. The way you think, what's here between your ears will change everything. So stay plugged in. I could go on and on with a whole bunch of stuff I've learned over my 31 years in network marketing that made me huge success. But stay plugged into Aaron. I mean, this guy, I'm so excited to work with Aaron. Aaron and I really didn't know each other before this opportunity. I am stoked to learn from this guy. This guy is a legend, folks. He has helped so many people in the network marketing industry. He's not just here, ranting and raving on a Saturday to you. He is pouring his heart and soul out how he made millions upon millions of dollars in the industry, retired, like he said, in 2017. So pay close attention and then take action. There's going to be action taking. I'm a big marketer. I do advertising and marketing, attraction marketing. I don't do sell marketing. I attract the right types of people, and that's what we're going to teach you inside of here between Aaron and my enroller, Jason Cardamone. If you haven't heard the story, he was one of my proteges back in 2005. I met Jason when he was broke and just getting in the industry. And look, he's come full circle. He's done bigger things than I have, and I love it because also that's another thing is I don't want to be the guy in front of the room. I want all of you on my team to be in front of the room because that's more important when you guys are having massive success. And I know Aaron feels the same. I know Jason feels the same. But I'm going to turn it over to, I think I saw that Jack was unmuted or Vince. Which one of you guys would like to speak? I'd love to hear from Vince. Vince is a numbers guy. Vince is unmuted. Jack's unmuted. So, I'll introduce Vince first. And then Vince, turn it back to me, and I'll introduce Jack. Actually, Aaron, you know Jack very well, don't you, as well? You can introduce Jack. But this is Vince Lamontia. He's down now in North Carolina. He's a New York City cop and firefighter. I don't have his accent, but I do have the Boston accent because I'm an American transplant from Canada. I grew up in Massachusetts, been in Canada 23 years. But Vince he's a seven-figure income earner, meaning he's made $1 million or more in a company before. but he's a numbers guy. And he's a systems guy. And so, Vince, I'm so excited that you're here, that you saw the vision to join with me in business. Same with Jack. They're both my personal enrollees here in the company. So I'm so excited to turn it over to Mr. Vince Lamontia down in North Carolina now to give some insights on as why he is here and what's got him excited. And pay close attention to this man because he also knows what he's talking about.
I appreciate you, Maddie. You guys can hear me? Yes?
Yep, loud and clear, man.
So yes, if I sound like a guy named Vinny from New York, it's true. I am originally I was a New York City police officer, the New York City firefighter. And, I say that because I want to put it into context, because a lot of times you hear, people get started at these big-time entrepreneurs. I came from the working class, and Aaron, by the way, I really appreciate your leadership. Of course, Maddie, I know of Aaron, and I know about his skills. We never really worked together, but this is going to be an amazing run because of your skill set, and I appreciate you putting this together. So, when I was exposed, I was brought up to get a safe, secure job with pension and benefits, right? So I got the pension and the benefits. A lot of people don't have a pension right now, and it also forced me to internalize passive income, residual income. Most people don't really internalize that. There's a term you'll hear, or you may have heard, that if you really knew what residual income was, you'd crawl across broken glass to get it, or you would break through a brick wall to get it, because it really represents true freedom. It just flat out does. We have residual bills, residual income, recurring income. So when I was introduced to network marketing, another fireman, a good friend of mine, a brother of mine, I was, like everyone else. And again, this is context, because you'll get this from people. I said, is that a pyramid? Now, I didn't really know at the time why I said that, but it turns out I was indoctrinated, like a lot of people, through academia to believe when something has a very low barrier of entry and a high possibilities of financial independence, it's a scam. It's a freedom. It's a pyramid. So I said that. He also invited me to a meeting 47 times. I never showed up. I'm like, why is he getting so pissed? So anyway, I saw an opportunity back in 2017. I saw a circle, gets 2 circles. I said, I want to be a circle, right? I don't want to find other circles. I signed up to be a circle. And so that's what I did. And I got started in the company. Now I want to just put this into context. Good company, good timing, very good company products. Everything was good. Very good. Excellent. And you were able to get into that company at that time and do well. So I plugged in. I read the books. A lot of people say, I don't read. I read the books because the people that were very successful
read the books.
They said they read the books. I said, what should I do? How do I get people to... They said, read this. I said, okay. I didn't fight it. So that's a nugget. Like, you gotta internalize that. That's real quick. So I built a business in my first deal. I did actually have success, but that compensation plan was modeled on the sale of a product. So I then got involved with a company that was digital in the energy space. I was with that company for 8 years, okay, and there was no product. We made multiple 5 figures a month for 5 years straight. And the thing that it wasn't the money, it was the freedom. It was no stress for my wife and no stress for my family. And that's key. So then we found that company severed the network marketing arm. What do you have, Think and Grow Rich there?
Yeah. I actually am sitting around over 500 books. You name a success book, I guarantee you it's in one of my bookshelves in front of me. I have 500 books sitting around me right now. I was just going to grab like a handful of them. I have literally stacks of books all around my windowsill.
Look what's on my desk as well, guys.
If you don't,
is that a hint? If you don't have Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, tell them. If you don't have this book, you don't have much in business. Okay? So,
if you're not reading that book,
Jack Bastide's got his book. Look, anyone and everyone who's making 6 figures, if you thought about being $1 million earner, let's start with 6 figures. If you want to be a 6-figure earner, right? I see Paul's got his book. Anybody else? Flash your book. If you want to be a 6-figure earner, you have to have the skill sets that are discussed inside this book.
Yes. You're fighting a battle one hand tied behind your back. Let me just real quick end with this. I would throw it back to Maddie. For years I was looking. I saw the concept of of this company, Live Good, that SaveClub is modeled by. And at first I looked at it, I said, I don't want to look, it looks like a product-based business. Then I looked at the concept of membership marketing, the subscription economy, and you listen to people like Patrick Bet-David, Alex Hermosi, Kevin O'Leary, Gary Vaynerchuk, top entrepreneurs, not your broke brother-in-law who's sitting on the couch eating chili with his fingers playing video games, because he's going to say that'll never work. But when you listen to the people in the know, the membership marketing space, we get our compensation plan is not based on the sale of a product. That is colossal information to understand and internalize, because you can build actual passive income. I wasn't looking for SaveClub. I saw it. I clicked in. I opted in immediately. And they say successful people make decisions very quickly. So we can talk all day, 7 figures, all this, nothing matters. Your success in the past has nothing to do with anything. It's all about going 1 star, getting 2. And I think, Aaron probably say will agree, a culture of 1 star by Friday, fast action Friday. Every Friday you have to be one, that's your goal. And following folks like Jason and Maddie and Aaron will be able to do that. So thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate your trainings and your leadership. And I'll mute myself out and get my pen in hand. Let's go do it.
Right on. Thanks, Vince, for sharing. And Matthew, did you want to chime in, or Jack?
Yeah,
I think Jack would. Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, and I'm Jack. I was sponsored by Matt. I've been in the industry a while. By the way, I'm from Brooklyn, so Vince, I'm going to call you like Vinny Boombats, if that's okay with me. But anyway, so yeah, I first got started out actually with the same. Well, I looked at the same company, the water filter thing, right? And I answered an ad in a newspaper. Right.
Sports-minded, right? Sports-minded.
Sports-minded. That was the ad. Sports-minded. Absolutely. Yes. I thought it was a job interview, right?
Same.
So I go there, and there's like 20 people there. We all sit down. They put on a video, and I'm like, this is the weirdest job interview I've ever been in, right? And they wanted me to spend like $5,000 to get started, and I was actually thinking about it. But the same night, I also had so that one I thought was a interview. But the other one I knew was a business opportunity. I had actually found a business card, and I'm going to date myself here. I found a business card in a phone booth. Do you remember those things? There used to be phone booths all over the place. So I found a business card in there that said, make more in a month than doctors earn in a year. And that caught my attention, right? So I went to that, and that turned out to be New Skin. And I did that for about a year. Didn't really make any money. Made about $300. And somebody told me that, when you make money in a business, you can write off all your expenses. So I said, okay, that's cool. So I made $300, wrote off about $8,000, and got a nice letter from the IRS. Hey, what the hell are you doing? That was my first audit. But from there, I was hooked on the whole residual income thing. So I've done many things over the years. I've actually been away from the industry for a little while. I have one company that I've actually been involved with for like 15 years. I haven't really worked it in years, but I still get residual income like 10, 12 years later. I haven't really worked it hard. And I've kind of jumped in and out of little things over the years. But here's what I like about this thing, right? So first of all, the fact that it's really international. Like some of these companies, if they want to go international and you got products, you're not really international if you're not getting products into the country. So that's one thing. This thing's really international, right? It's simple. It's a low investment. It's different. I mean, I only jumped in like yesterday, and the first 2 people I spoke to, they've signed up already. I got a few more people in the pipeline, but it's simple. It's fun. And this group of people, I mean, I looked in the group, Aaron, you got so much good stuff in there. I mean, just for the personal development alone, it's worth it. But I think we're all going to have a lot of fun here, guys. I'm very, very excited about this thing, man. Who knows where this thing's going to go, So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm looking forward to having a great time here, so.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Jack, and we've known each other through the internet. We've never met in person, and in this business, and Matthew Jameson said this on our Fast Start training call the other night. He said, we're so early in this business, right, that it's a literal land grab right now. And if you don't know what a land grab means, it's like when the settlers moved out west, it was just kind of the Wild West. If you had a gun, you could rope off a whole section of land, and as long as you had your gun showing, nobody was coming around to take it. And so the more land you could grab, the more real estate you owned, and then you could use that for farming or building farm and cattle ranches, and then or you could sell it, right? So now is the time to put your head down, right? Go to work, right? Go down deep and don't come up for air for the next 90 days, right? And we work in quarters in this business, right? Everybody, we talk about a 90-day run. If you ever, been on a big team before, a 90-day run means that for 3 months, we're going to put our heads down. We're going to go deep into the building mode of getting the right message in front of the right people at just the right time. And if you do that for 90 days, a couple of options or a couple of possibilities are there. Number one, nothing happens with your business, right? You don't enroll anybody. You don't sell a membership, right? But what happens is, even though you may not have external results, because you went down deep and you went into this building mode where you started to take massive action, you may not realize it, but you're changing from the inside out. You're going through a metamorphosis. I'm going to share a quick story with you that I think will make a huge difference for your success, all of you. Okay? How many of you want to hear a quick story that'll change your life? Oop, knocked into my mic there. One day a man and his son are walking through the woods, and they see on the ground a little cocoon, and it's attached to a small twig. And so the little boy picks it up and says, "Daddy, can we take it home with us?" And the father says, "Sure, we can take it home." So they take the little cocoon on the twig home, and they set it over a glass like this, so that the twig is over the top of the glass and the cocoon is just sitting there. And one day, all of a sudden, the cocoon starts trembling, and a little tiny corner of a wing is popped out. And the little boy says, "Daddy, look, the caterpillar turned into a butterfly, and he's trying to get out, but he can't. He's struggling." And so the little boy runs into the kitchen and grabs a utility knife and goes to cut the cocoon open. And the father says, "Son, don't do it. Stop. Don't cut the cocoon. You have to let the butterfly emerge from the cocoon, because the same strength that it takes to break out of the cocoon is the same strength that it takes for the thing to fly." And so if you feel, after working your business for an extended period of time, that you haven't made any progress, understand that you're breaking out of your cocoon. And it takes, like I said earlier, we all said, reading great books, listening to audios, modeling successful people, being a part of live events like this. How many of you can already feel a shift just in the last 60 minutes on this call? Okay? Because it's calls like this. It's showing up when most other people would make excuses, right? They say successful people do the things that others find boring and uncomfortable. And so if it's inconvenient for you to show up on a call like this, on a pop-up, because it's a Saturday, and Saturday is when you play pickleball, or maybe you have a drinking day with your buddies because of the Kentucky Derby in a few hours, or maybe you're planning on taking the day off and just scrolling social media on your sofa all day, right? If you only find success when it's convenient, you'll never find it. Is that true, Vince, Matthew, Jack, right? If you only do what comes naturally to you, nobody is going to be impressed. And if nobody is impressed with you, you will not find yourself becoming an attractive character. You've got to step outside your comfort zone. You have to make commitments that you've never made before, showing up on trainings, showing up on corporate presentations, showing up on Zooms, on fast start trainings, on team get-togethers and huddles. We're going to do a lot of work together here over the next several years. And so if I was brand new, right, Matthew, Vince, right? Jack, right? And I'm sure Jason would agree. And all the leaders that we have on, and there's a lot of leaders, gang. Jason's team is now close to 500 people in 2 weeks. We're just getting started. Right? So the duplication that's taking place is tremendous, which means that we have something with low barrier to entry, like Jack and both Vince mentioned, right? Anybody can do this business, but not everybody will, because they're going to buy their own excuses and they're going to talk themselves and negotiate themselves out of the success that they came here for. So that being said, is anybody in the chat, are there questions? Maybe we'll take a few minutes of questions. We're not going to spend a ton of time on these, but if there are questions, let me open the chat and just throw my glasses back on my readers here.
I didn't see any questions yet, but now is your time, folks, to throw the questions in the chat or even unmute and ask your questions, folks. Don't be shy. We can't bite you through the phone anyway.
Yeah.